Let's bring in trial attorney Alexis Rosenberg, our guest for this hour. Alexis, thank you so much for being with us. Okay, the first day, Karen Reed's trial.
Yes.
We have been waiting, and now it is here. What are you listening for? What are you hoping to see in this retrial, and what do you make of the witness that was just on the stand?
So the witness that's currently on the stand, I mean, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow and for a jury to believe that his memory now about something that took place previously is better than his memory at the time. I mean, that is a difficult thing to get a jury to believe. So I do think that the prosecution is doing well trying to rehabilitate him, but as I'm watching it, I think they have a real issue with credibility because I don't think that is just believable. For most people don't have that ability.
You know, it's interesting that you point that out because in this trial that we're covering here in Phoenix, Arizona, that's one of the things that Lori Daybell told the jurors during her closing argument yesterday. She said, I encourage you to go back and listen to that tape of that police interview that I did immediately after this incident took place. That was then, right at the time, right after the time this shooting took place. It's not several years later when these witnesses are on the stand trying to recall what took place several years ago. So, Alexis, that's such an excellent point here, talking about the same thing in the Karen Reed trial. What are you taking away just in regard to the presentation style from the defense this time around? Are you taking away from maybe Alan Jackson that he is just more straightforward, more direct? He's like, okay, we went through this once, now we're going to get it right this time. Or what do you think?
Well, Alan Jackson is a really good attorney, and I think the takeaway is that you always have to be cautious on retrial as a defense attorney, that the prosecution is going to correct, and they have the ability to correct the holes that they had that created the mistrial. So you're a little more cautious and a little, more focused on that. And I think that's where he is, but he's also doing the same thing. He's gone back and analyzed, okay, where could I have been stronger in the defense now that I get this second bite at the apple?
So Alan Jackson was going at the witness there. He's saying, what? Do you need to see the video again? Judge Cannoni is not going to allow them to play that again. What do you take of that exchange that just took place?
You are right. He was going at the witness, that is for sure. I would have actually liked for the judge to allow the video to be replayed again. I understand why she decided not to, because it is a little confusing. His story is confusing, which is obviously what Alan Jackson is trying. One of the things to do is to say the story doesn't make sense. It's, what he's saying, and now he's coming up with this new stuff. But I really would have liked for her to allow that video to be played again.
Alexis, expand on that a little bit more. You used the word confusing, and when we watched the first trial, when Alan Jackson is putting on the case, you do get confused with a lot of the things that are being discussed because there's a couple different ways you can look at the evidence. For instance, the marks on John O'Keefe's arm, were they from a dog? They are going to be able to bring in their expert this time. Obviously, the state had not wanted them to do that. The Commonwealth there in Massachusetts. Kind of expand on that. Defense's role in trying to, poke holes into the state's case, really.
Well, confusion equals generally reasonable doubts. So, I mean, that is one of his main jobs. But yeah, we want the confusion, and I think that he did a really good job.
Yeah, he did. Sorry to cut you off, Alexis. I'll just keep asking you several questions because this retrial is so interesting to listen to.